Hello, welcome to Hitchhiking Stars. I am Fernanda Paiva. Welcome to my channel, and today is Transits Friday. So what do? We talk about the transits. We talk about what's happening in the sky that reflects opportunities for me to create the life that I want to live, to co-create, to navigate, to get my surfing board and take a ride with these planetary positions and configurations. So this week is an interesting week. We have a few different shifts. So that's pointing out shifts of energies that we're going to be like facing, that we're going to be going through somehow. So let's prepare ourselves. Let's see what's up and how we can use that. And before that, as usual, please write down in the comments, how have you been? How was this week for you? How was the new moon Leo? Was anything clearly beginning in your life? Like, do you know which house that new moon was? What was going on there? It was a new moon square Uranus, so there's some kind of exciting energy, exciting change and rupture somehow connected with this new moon in Leo. So it's very cool that for me, this new moon in Leo kind of corresponded with my partner getting his visa. So yay, we got our visa. I mean, I don't need a visa, but he got his visa to Brazil, so we're going to Brazil. And as you can see, I've got a very different background as well behind me. I am visiting a friend, so I'm in Cornwall, I'm in Par, and yeah, just by the coast in the UK, like by the beach. Very nice. And yeah, so this is, you know, an interesting week, definitely for me, and for my partner, with that new moon happening right on his midheaven, you know, and Uranus on his 7th house. So very fitting, very cool. That was what our week was like. So we're definitely being celebrating these visas. It's like a 1-year visa. So that's very, very exciting news. Now tell me, how was your week? What was happening for you? How was this new moon in Leo? Did you feel energized? Did you feel tired? You know, let me know in the comments. Great. So let's talk about this week. So this is the chart for the moment. This is the chart for today. And today, I think we're still picking up a little bit on this new moon that we just had a couple of days ago, really. And we're still kind of navigating that sort of dark of the moon. Moon is in Virgo, and there's a kind of a activation of Virgo, you know, Virgoan planets, that Mercury, that Mars as well. I think what's happening as well this weekend and this week is that we're getting ready for Virgo season. So Virgo season is approaching us very soon. So we're kind of picking up that energy a little bit. You know, Mars is trine Uranus is still, moon is activating that trine I talked about last week as well, and how we can get our energy in a productive way, even though it's a new moon, even though it's a time where we usually need to rest a little bit as well. But the Virgo planets are pointing out to some things that we can accomplish, and especially the earthy, you know, sort of trine here, and grunt trine between that Uranus, Pluto, and Mars as well. They're not really exact, but there is a kind of an element there, an energy there, you know, with these planets that are pointing out to some analysis, detoxing, getting ourselves ready, you know, to do some work, to get organized, you know, this week somehow when we actually have Virgo season. So for the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, really, I think there's a kind of a low key energy going on. We do have Venus retrograde coming to square Jupiter, and this is going to be happening this week as well, most of this week. And I think because it's a weekend as well, is something like, be careful not to overdo, be careful not to overeat and to overextend yourself on the fun and end up, you know, feeling really sick of all the stuff that you ate, all the sugar that you had, or the party that you did. So there's something about trying to be a little bit more aware of how you're using this square between Venus and Jupiter, because there is a tendency to overdo, to overeat, or, you know, to overdo the nice things. So I think this is the message for this weekend, to navigate this energy. But all in all, I think there is a kind of a cool sort of chilled energy for this weekend. And Mars in opposite Neptune is kind of coming to an exact opposition this week, this coming week, But during the weekend is approaching, so this energy is there in the air for us, like this sense of confusion, like the need to organize things, but also at the same time a sense of confusion of not knowing really what direction of what kind of action to take. I oftentimes say a Mars-Neptune aspect like this point out to doing things based on an inner vision and an inner connection with the sort of like the more ethereal realm, rather than really trying to be like very, very rational and like 1 + 1 = 2 and, you know, very matter of fact. I think there is a sense of being able to use this energy for your spiritual practices a little bit more, for, you know, your inner life a little bit more, and try to meditate a little bit with these energies. So perhaps there's an element of that during this weekend, as well as Mars approaches that opposition with Neptune. So that's the chart for Sunday. So we're still navigating that energy, the same energy we have Moon in Libra as well, and the moon sextile Venus here. So I have a kind of a moment, a window of, you know, harmony between these two planets, and a sense of ease as well, perhaps, and an awareness potentially of our wounds there as well with that Chiron. But what I'm really interested is during the week itself. So this weekend we can catch our breath, we can be careful not to overdo things with that square. Look, the square between Venus and Jupiter will be exact on Monday. So it's like the sort of the building up of transits during this weekend rather than anything exact. So the week is very interesting for me. And we do have Moon square Pluto on Monday. So maybe the feelings will be more heightened and intensified somehow, and the situations might be intensified. But also Moon in a sextile to the Sun in Leo, I think is like the beginning. I think this week what's representing lunar phase wise is that we're beginning to take action connected with that new moon that we had. So the new moon in Leo that we had a couple of days ago is sort of like building up this week, and we're sort of like starting to have a sense of where to put our energy and, you know, navigate these new projects or these new things, these new intentions that we set during the new moon in Leo, the new beginnings that were kind of happening there. And again, look, that Mars is coming very close to that opposition here, and this is what happens is on Tuesday. So Tuesday we have that Mars at 26 and Neptune at 26 as well. So if you have any natal planets at 26 degrees, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, then this is a transit that's going to be very activated and very much on your face on Tuesday. So I'd say the weekend is the building up, and Monday, Tuesday will be very, very exact, and you know, Tuesday like to the degree. And so we can really notice something, we can really see, sense, feel. Maybe some events will happen as well that will show us. But if you do have planets on the mutable signs at those degrees, then your long-lasting transit is going to be activated during this week. And I'd say a Neptune transit has something to do with re-injecting our lives with inspiration. You know, we need something otherworldly in our life somehow, and we might try to seek that by using alcohol or any other form of escapism, or we might do that by embracing some more spirituality, some more creativity, like creative work, artwork, music. You know, there are all sorts of different ways of doing that. In fact, there's a whole video I did about Neptune. And if you're watching this right now and you're having a Neptune transit, it's well worth going to check on that video to have, to brainstorm into what these Neptune transit could be telling you right now, could be reflecting of your personal growth, of the opportunities to rejiggle, to retune yourself to a new way of being, which is basically how I see astrological transits. What I think their essence is when they're activating something in our charts is time to step up and to embrace another side of ourselves and to change the way that we express ourselves in the world. So that Mars opposite Neptune, all in all, might bring a sense of tiredness, might bring a sense of confusion. Mars is about how we do things, how we get things done, how we express anger as well. So we might be a little bit confused about boundaries, setting boundaries, how to set or not boundaries. So it's a day to keep an eye on and to try and do more spiritual internal things rather than really get it out there and, you know, try to be clear about a situation or about order or about a direction as well. All right. So let me know in the comments if you have any planets of mutable signs of those degrees, you know, the 26 degree of the mutables, because this is definitely going to be very, very important and relevant to you. So this, you know, Tuesday is definitely, you know, this energy, Mars Neptune is definitely the relevant energy there. Now, boom, on Wednesday, this is when we have the big shift as well. So there's a big Virgo shift that's going to be happening, and this is Virgo season starting. So we have the sun moving to Virgo. So the end of Leo season, basically, the end of that sense of, in the northern hemisphere, of like summer, having fun, and, you know, the sort of easy, slow life in a way, and smelling the roses. Now there's a shift here, like mutable signs, we know they are mutable because they relate to the change of seasons. So it's a time of changing seasons, and this is what that Virgo season reflects as well. It's like a time when we're getting ready to the next season to come in. It's not really winter anymore in the southern hemisphere, or summer in the northern as well. So sun moving to Virgo, really there's a sense of like, okay, we need to get our things together. We need to get our lives together. We need to do our to-do lists. We need to organize the things, you know, organize the commitments. What do we want to actually do? How can we organize our routines? That's very Virgo as well, in a way that will make us more effective. How can we work more effectively? How can we take part in the world in a more effective way, right? That's what Virgo talks about. And that's the opportunity that we all have collectively when the sun travels through Virgo as well. And especially with Mars and Mercury in Virgo too. Now, one thing is, we have that sun coming to oppose Saturn, but that's going to happen in a few days later on. What's really the second shift of Wednesday is Mercury turning retrograde. So here we come to another Virgo retrograde season. So Mercury will be stationing to turn retrograde on the 23rd of August. That will be nighttime in England. So this may vary at different time zones in different places in the world as well. It might be on Thursday, you know, early Thursday already, depending on where you are. But this is where the second shift is. So we have Virgo season happening and Mercury turning retrograde. So the sun is ruled by Mercury, and that Mercury will be turning retrograde on the day that the sun is moving to Virgo. So Mercury retrograde 4 times a year for 3 weeks, more or less. So this is something that happens quite often. There's no doom and gloom. There's nothing to be like, oh my God, everything is going to go wrong and it's going to be terrible. But on the sort of constructive astrology fashion, the question that we're asking ourselves is, what can I do with this Mercury retrograde? What can I do during Mercury retrograde season? And it is about revision, reassessing, rethinking, editing, going back to something that you started but you didn't finish, so you can go back and finish finally, or like you can reread something, you can rewrite something. It's a brilliant time for editing things. You know, if you've been writing something, that's a great time for you to go back to it and do some editing, some polishing up. It's a really wonderful time to reassess and reanalyze. Analyzing is a very Virgoan, Mercury Virgo like characteristic. And so this is a time where you can reassess and reanalyze things and see what's working, separate what's working from what's not working in your life. Now, the way that you're going to be more clear about how to do this is by placing that Mercury in a house in your chart. So you can know if that rethinking is in your first house, then it's about how you come across, how you identify yourself, how you express yourself to other people in relationships as well, how you step into your individuality. If it's in the 10th house, it's about your career, your role in the world. How do you express that role in the world, and how can you reassess that area of your life? So it's a big reassessment on a specific area of your life. And on Monday, I'm going to do a video about Mercury retrograde in the houses based on the ascendant, just so you can have an extra tool and an extra few insights for you to navigate these Mercury retrograde. Because honestly, I was born in Mercury retrograde. I do enjoy this time. And I feel that we can do a lot with these transits. So it's really a waste to just be scared and just be like, oh no, I want to sleep and wake up when Mercury is direct again. No, there's so much that we can do with this. So Monday I'll be coming out with this video, and hopefully it will be really helpful there for you as well to kind of get some more insights, understand what area of your life, where can you place that Mercury, etc., and what can you do during these 3 weeks as well. So this is the big, shifts. Is Virgo season, Mercury going retrograde as well. And on the day after, on Thursday, what we have is the first quarter. So remember when I was talking about the lunar phases and how, this week is kind of taking the first step, starting to move towards the intentions that we set during that new moon in Leo, right? Well, that's very strong there on Thursday as well because of the first quarter. And because the first quarter happens very close to a T-square with Saturn as well. So it does talk about making something real, making into a reality, really kind of challenging the obstacles, that we might face in relation to the intentions that we set, like how can we implement, so be very clear about what intentions you set during that Leo moon. And this week, what can you do to get closer to those intentions? What can you do that will take you on that direction a little bit further, right? Again, this is constructive astrology. It's about you using the transits in a way that works for you, in a way that helps you to create the beautiful life that you want to have, and not only you want to have, but you deserve. So this is the lunar phase there that's also very important and will be happening on Thursday. And just, keep an eye and just have a look, just see what comes up to you in relation to the intention in the new moon. And that's it really for this week. This is Friday. We'll be talking about Friday next week. And like I said, I will be bringing a video on Monday about Mercury retrograde in the houses based on the ascendant. Let me know, what else would you like to see me talking about? If there's any natal placements, I'm really beginning to work on videos about natal placements because I think they're so fascinating and there's so much that we can talk about. And let me know in the comments, how you're doing, how you're being, what are you planning to do with all of these different transits, with all these different opportunities here that we're having, and what would you like to see me talking about as well. But in the meantime, I'm wishing you all a wonderful weekend, a beautiful time. Enjoy this Venus-Jupiter transit without overdoing, and I'll be seeing you all on Monday. So bye-bye now. See you soon. Take care.